All right, boys, I know I haven't posted in a while, and I'll be very real with you. Like, it's very out of character for me to not stick to something that I said I was going to do, and kind of it's been bothering me a lot. So, in this video, there's going to be no excuses, no bullshit. I'm just going to be, very real and vulnerable with you guys. Tell you exactly where I've been, what's been going on behind the scenes, and what's next. Right? So, and like as always, I don't really have a script for this, no really, edits or, crazy transitions. I just want this to be raw and just me talking, just so I can get the message across and as organic way as possible. Um, and honestly, like if you're at a point where you feel stuck or confused, I think you're gonna get value out of this because I'm really gonna be sharing through like my reflection process. Because reflection is really, and I believe this truly. Like I think reflection is really where most of the progress is made, right? Because if you're not reflecting, you're just going in whatever direction the stick the stick falls, right? And you're not like looking back. Like you have to be able to go, like make a hypothesis, go in that direction and see the data. Is it working, is it not working? Am I hitting certain milestones or not? And if it's not working, you want to reflect on that and maybe course correct. So I'm going to be sharing that through like how you can kind of, how I've been at least like handling through and like untangling through this part of life that I'm in, and really how I kind of go about thinking through roadblocks. And obviously, this is also going to be kind of like a personal journey for me, so I can kind of look back on maybe a couple of months from now, years from now, just to see where my head was at. But yeah, getting into it. So I would say about 4 to 6 months. Over the last 4 to 6 months, I've been reflecting a lot, about the business, about the personal brand, life in general, all of it. And I traveled a little bit to kind of change my environment, change my thinking patterns, meet some new people who are from completely different backgrounds, and really trying to understand them. And in the process of doing that, hopefully also understand myself a little bit better, and just try to break the loop I was in, right? Because I realized like I was in this hedonic treadmill for the last 2 years, just chasing the next thing and the next thing, and without really stopping to ask, why am I even doing this? And one of the biggest things that hit me was this concept of mimetic desire, which basically says that there's like your goals, your desires are not really yours. Sometimes we just want things because someone we admire also wants it, right? So, for example, if I admire Hermosi, for example, right, I might try to project his work ethic, his goals onto myself. So it's a very easy trap to get in because next thing you know, you're just chasing someone else's dream. Like you're not, the free will is out of the picture at that point. And honestly, like that was me, right? That was me for the longest time. I realized that I was just scaling out of habit, just blindly pushing for higher numbers, because I thought that's what I was supposed to do, right? And I would see everyone around me also hustling because I try to surround myself with people who are doing good, doing better than me at least. And I saw them, all of them, like hustling, stacking revenue milestones, and I didn't really want to be left behind. So, but I kind of had to start asking myself why. Why was it a weird one to even ask that question? That okay, what's on the other side, and this was really what this really hit me first when we hit our first 30K months, right? And at first it felt amazing, but after I started realizing that, this is not going to feel any different, and this has been the case after every revenue milestone, right? It just feels kind of like pointless. The thing is, I realized that, like, I knew that revenue milestones are not going to mean anything. That's something I've known for a while at this point. But the main thing that was a shocker for me was that I was not even enjoying the process anymore. Process of scaling the agency. Like I just didn't find it challenging. I found it like mundane. Like, and I was just kind of going through the motions at that point. And deep down, like I knew the fact that like even if we went from 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 100, even beyond that, which is like this magic number for some reason, I wouldn't really feel any different. I would just feel more empty and more draining. So, and what really made it worse for me was the fact that I had this internal conflict, right? Because one of my core values in life is growth itself. Like I need to feel like I'm growing. It's part of who I am. And after a long time, revenue was really the only thing and the only way I kind of measured that. Because it's easy to track. It's like a number, right? You can easily track it. But I hit a point where, yeah, I mean, the money was growing, but I wasn't, right? And that really made me feel very uneasy. Like I was kind of betraying my own values in a way. So I made a shift, right? So I stopped really. The main thing I I, I changed here, after realizing this was like I really stopped trying to measure growth in terms of revenue, at least for the season, and start tracking it based on other stuff. And by the way, the other stuff is, again, the growth is hard to measure in these other domains, like health, like sleep time with family experiences I was having. So I started to prioritize a little bit more, like traveling and just talking to strangers and just all that, and just being like human again. And yeah, some of this I've neglected for a long time, just because I thought that if I wanted to make this business work and scale to the next level, I had to give all my attention, all my focus to this. um, and I think that's true. You need to have a season of cutting everything off if you want to make big progress in a specific in a specific domain of life. But I think long term it's just not sustainable. um, and also, like, even if you just keep going, like, at the end of the day, your body and your limbic brain, it will fuck you up if you just keep ignoring it. So yeah, I'm not shutting my business down. Like, it's still running, it still makes good money. I've just chosen to scale it back, intentionally, because I really want to focus on things that really feel more meaningful and important to me right now. Now, in terms of the content side of things, so why haven't I really been consistent there? And I've reflected on this a lot too. It's partly because of I was kind of figuring out the direction I want to go in with the business, with life. But a big one too was the fact that a lot of people, IRL, have also found out about my content. And honestly, like, most people were kind, some were not as much, and it's hard, right? Like, because I think a lot of people who know me IRL, they're kind of familiar with an old version for you. I'm sure you if you're scaling and you're trying to level up, you will notice this as well. Um, they're familiar with a version of you that's you already shed, a couple of months ago, from a couple of years ago. And that's growth, right? That growth kind of changes you in a way. And uh, and it's hard for people to accept that. It changes your beliefs, your personality traits, the way you move, all that. uh, but I think a lot of people still expect you to be, you know kind of like aligned to that old identity that they are familiar with. And I think at that point, it's very easy for you to kind of like find yourself step into your old identity just to match their expectations. And I think that can really hinder growth. In a lot of, and at least I know that held me back. I think that holds a lot of people back as well. But at the end of the day, like, what I realized was the fact that we're all gonna die. Like, 100 years from now, the people whose opinion you value so much, they're not gonna be around, and nor are you, right? So, and I think there's freedom in that. Some people see that as in like a depressing way. Um, but but yeah, man. I mean, you just gotta live life the way you want and show everyone else. But I get it, right? That it's easier said than done. We're all human. We are kind of wired to belong. Like, the evolution, it just how we're kind of ingrained. Because thousands of years ago, if if you were doing things that your group, your community didn't approve of, you'd be discarded, and that meant certain death, because you'd be eaten by like a predator or something. You don't have a group to save you. And people who did belong, they ended up surviving over the years, and we are kind of the incarnation of them. So I think yeah, I think it's hard. It's part of being human. um, I don't know if we'll ever be at a point where we can totally stop caring about what other people think, but I think we can always take steps towards getting closer to that. Another thing that helped me a lot, and I think Hermosi talks about this, is really asking, are you really going to let XYZ person's opinion, stop you from doing what you want with your life. And I think if you were to name that person, um, it just takes the weight away from it, right? So are you really gonna let John's opinion of you, you know, stop you from getting what you want? And for you, this can be either a friend, an ex, a family member, a relative, whatever, right? So you just gotta ask yourself why you're giving them that much power. So I mean, yeah, I mean, this is really a conversation you can be having right now. If you're putting something off because of an opinion that you're worried about of someone else, just ask yourself this question and just name that person. You will instantly notice that that weight off of your shoulders. So yeah, that's where I've been. Now, in terms of what's next, the funny thing is I kind of got an answer to this while I was reflecting on whether or not I should scale. And what I realized was that I actually enjoy helping you guys a lot, like the community calls, answering DMs, making these videos. That's what I enjoy doing. That's after thinking about this a little bit. Because yeah, like I might sound critical about this business model sometimes, but I'm still grateful for it, right? Because it changed my life, and I know that it has for so many people I know. And it has given me time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. Like I'm good. I think I have everything I wanted, except for a Lambo. I'm kidding. Um, but yeah, I think I just want to give it back. So yeah, if you're just starting out or you want to get into the space, you can join the free Discord we have. So we have a community. We do bi-weekly coaching calls. You can DM me with questions anytime. The only prerequisite is hunger, because most people say they want it, but don't really, take action. So things won't change for you unless you take action. I can only give you direction, right? If you're at a point where you're already making over $1,000 a month, and you want to scale to 10,000 and beyond, especially if you're in India and you want to land international clients, I'm going to launch a private inner circle soon. So you can go to the first link in the description and join the waitlist. And everyone who signs up on the waitlist will also be receiving like my weekly reflection doc, like the exact questions I ask myself, um, to really get answers. Because I think the quality of answers you get just come from the quality of questions you ask. The better your questions are, the better the answers you're gonna get. So I do this process every single week on Sundays usually, and ask myself a set of questions to really understand where I'm going. Is this a direction that I still feel is right for me? If not, what am I going to change? So all that stuff. So yeah, if you want that, just go to the first thing in the description, join the waitlist. You'll get an email with the confirmation and the weekly reflection doc. But yeah, that's it for this one. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you soon.